Hello.
So we just got back from taking a tour of Oriental to look at the cleanup that's been going on. Amazing job, amazing community, amazing job with the cleanup, so take a look. Ready, Captain?
Yes, here's to new beginnings together.
New beginnings.
New season. I love you. And here's to all of our viewers.
Survivors.
It's good. Is that the wine diet? I'm on the wine diet now. In our last episode of Sailing Nervous, we took a drive down to Deaton's boatyard to see when they would reopen, because we need to take the boat out of the water and do the bottom paint. I finally spoke to them on the phone, and they said that they would get in touch with me as soon as they were able to haul the boat out. But for right now, they were putting boats back in the water after the last hurricane. So in anticipation of plotting our course south, I opened up the waterway guide to see the status of the waterways. And then I heard the news. There's a new hurricane coming.
It has happened officially at 1:30 Eastern, and the winds upping to 155, gusts of 170.
As you can see, the damage from Hurricane Michael is just devastating, and so my heart is just broken for everybody in that area that's lived through that and all the destruction to everything. And so Vinny and I just want to send our sympathy and our prayers to all of the folks that have lost loved ones during this terrible storm. So even though the hurricane hit Florida, it still brought a lot more of wind damage and rain to the Carolinas. And so we are in the process of still waiting because of having that more rain and wind affect the Carolinas. We are waiting now for the marina that is able to accept our boat to take it out and to get the bottom paint done. We are waiting for the Waccamaw River to recede a bit so that the bridges can open. We are waiting for the Socastee Swing Bridge to be able to open so we can head south. And we are waiting to get back on the boat and head back south. So thank you for staying on this journey with us as we wait right now. And soon we hope that you won't be waiting with us, that you'll be adventuring with us on our journey ahead.
Several of you have written and asked me questions about what kind of boat do we have and when we get it. Well, it's a Moody 34. It was built in Plymouth, England. I looked quite a while for the right boat that I thought was right for us, and what really sold me on it was so well made. And look at this layout. It's hard to find a rear stateroom. in a 33.5-foot sailboat. We really loved the layout. Here's the captain's area where you can sleep at anchor, and here's the nav station. Here's the rear stateroom, which is nice. We actually extended the bed, made it even larger than that. That's the kitchen area or galley. Back to the salon again. This is the cockpit. Now this sailboat sailed here all the way across the Atlantic, so we know she can do it. This is another Moody 34. These shots are not of our Moody 34. This is the Moody 34, and it came all the way to the Caribbean from England and then up to Annapolis, Maryland, and that's where we found her. We found her just south in Deal, Maryland, about 20 minutes south of Annapolis, and we bought her at a place called Harrington Harbor North. Then we had her on the hard and did some work on her. And then we sailed her south. Actually, my friend Terry and I sailed her south to a place called Solomons, Maryland. He anchored out and showed me how to do that. And then from there, we sailed across the Chesapeake Bay to a place called Charlestown, where Amy met us, and she came aboard. And then the three of us sailed while Terry was teaching us stuff down the Chesapeake to Little Creek Marina. Terry then left to go home, and that was just Amy and I on the boat. And you can follow along those adventures if you like. We then came out alone for the first time into the Chesapeake Bay and down through that really busy section with all the naval yards and down the intercoastal waterway. We had our little encounter with the wake of a cargo ship, which was kind of scary. And we got to a really peaceful marina on the intercoastal place called Atlantic Yacht Basin. If you followed along with us, you'll remember that we then headed south. We hit some fog, and then we turned back to Atlantic Yacht Basin, then came again after the fog had lifted, made it to Coinjock. Then we crossed the Albemarle Sound, which was a big accomplishment for us, into the Alligator River Marina. After that, we had an awesome time down the Alligator River. That was the Sea of Glass episode. It was so beautiful. We went down, made it to a place called Dairy Creek Marina in Bellhaven, and that was also one of my favorite marinas. Really nice people there, welcoming liveaboards, and had a great lounge area. It really felt like home. Then we headed south. This was our first overnight anchorage, first time we ever anchored out, and had no problem dropping the hook and raising the hook. Although later we did have some difficulties in the future, but that was a great anchorage, no problem. We continued heading south. We just bypassed the whole Oriental area because we wanted to make time, and we got down to Morehead City, which was the first area that started to feel a little tropical. The water was a lighter shade of blue, and it was just real beautiful. It was a very difficult area to dock into. It was very tight, and there were some cargo ships. Very busy area right here. And then we headed out southwest down the Bogue Sound. The Bogue Sound is an interesting body of water. It's can really get stirred up, but we had great conditions when we went down it, and that took us to our all-time favorite place, well, one of them, which was Surf City. And this marina, you could walk to the beach, and we just loved that. It was just like living at the beach, one of our favorite things. That was just an awesome time. We met some friends there, and then we headed on south. And then this is kind of a hairy area, Cape Fear River. There's a tremendous, it's just the current's real strong. You just got to time it right. We didn't go to the Southport Marina. This is Southport, North Carolina. Beautiful little town. Instead, we went to Deep Point Marina because Southport Marina was booked. We spent a lot of time here. We met some friends here. We also have some Patreon supporters that live here that we're really appreciative of. I know that Southport also got hit real hard in the Hurricane Florence as well. Well, after we were done there, we continued our journey south, and we hit our first grounding. And it was truly just my fault. I didn't check because it's heavily marked in all of the, in the active captain, it was marked. It's a problem stretch. And so we went aground there, and then after we were pulled off, we went on our merry way. And here we passing the Osprey Marina, one of the best marinas, very inexpensive marina on the beautiful Waccamaw River. And we headed south to our next anchorage, which was Butler Island Anchorage. Had a really nice time at Butler Island. Headed south. That's Georgetown. We were going to anchor out here in a place called Minnham Creek, but the conditions were very stormy and it was loaded with crab pots, so we passed on that one. Well, heading south, we came to our very favorite place, and that's Isle of Palms Marina, and it was just gorgeous here. Beautiful, beautiful area. You could walk to the beach, which we did every day, and we just had a great time here. From there, let's go back and just take a look. There's this Leland Marina place that they packed us in so tight, remember? And then we had to leave in the morning to hit the right tide because these are very shallow areas and you got to go at high tide. And there was nobody there to help us, so I had to get out my Captain Tom Tersey docking book and figure out how to basically kind of get out when you're hemmed in on both sides. And that was an exciting episode. You can check that one out if you haven't seen it already. Well, we headed across Charleston Bay into Charleston itself, and this was so neat because we were able to live right next to a really, really cool city. We could walk to a lot of places, and we could also take Uber. Is that how you say it? Uber? Anyway, Charleston was a beautiful city. We had a lot of fun there. We met a lot of friends, did a lot of fun stuff. And instead of coming out, because the boat was not ready, we're not experienced enough as sailors yet. And they say that outside coast of the Carolinas is very kind of difficult. A lot of shoals, and the inlets coming back in can be really tricky, and you need local information. So that's something for our future. At this point, we don't have the rigging to even be able to sustain that, nor the skill or experience. So our goal at this point is just to be able to raise the sails and start sailing in some of these bays and sounds as we head south. Well, head south we did, and we stopped in at a place called St. John's Yacht Club. And so the next anchorage we went to was really pretty, had a nice time there. Although it was cold, we do need to get a diesel heater in our sailboat. We do like sailing and boating in the winter. And finally down here to Ladies Island Marina, just a great place, Beaufort, South Carolina. Very, very beautiful town. We really had a great time here. We were here quite a while. And we did take the boat out, raise the sails, we did some anchoring. We did get into some anchoring trouble because we dropped the anchor on a very peaceful night. The next morning, it was really stirred up. It was very difficult for some reason for us to get that anchor up. And now our goal was to head up to Annapolis, Maryland, where a friend of mine was going to help us fix the rigging so we could actually start doing some sailing. And so we headed north, trying to get up there before hurricane season. And we made really good progress, but if you followed along, we went aground right up here outside of Oriental. And so we wound up in River Dunes Marina just in time for hurricane season. And in fact, our sailboat was completely protected during Hurricane Florence, and a lot of the other marinas were destroyed. So now hurricane season's over. We're heading to a new base, a new home. We want to have a new base that's really close to a lot of places, a lot of great places, and it's right here in that northern part of Florida. And first we're going to take the boat out, haul her out, wait for the Waccamaw River to clear so the Socastee Spring Bridge can open up and we can head south. Don't forget to click the bell to get subscribed, and then you can get updates to all the latest episodes. Thanks.